Welcome back to Kung Fu Maintenance. Yep, you hear that sound? Got a hot water leak, water on the floor, tracking it down. Open the wall up here. I have hydronic units and hydronic heaters, and definitely have something going on because I've got water coming from the floor. So track it down to right here. Hoping it's above ground. Sometimes we can be way underground and can travel the sleeve and make you think it's right there, and in reality it's 6 feet that way. So this one I had checked out the day before, had a report that they could feel hot water in the floor all the way kind of across. Is how far is it traveling? All the way across the living room. And that just suggested that maybe there was a leak. And at that point I had no water coming up, but here it is the next day, water coming up. Here I turned the water off and just examining deeper down, pulled some of the insulation out, but still not down to the leak. And this is the manifold, so all connections are made above ground. You should never have any T's underground, and joints should be avoided where possible underground. So this is coming from the supply to here, and this one was actually made a little bit trickier in that this one what should be the supply line actually did not shut the water off, and I thought that maybe the ball valve was bad, but replaced the ball valve and it actually still didn't shut off the water, the hot water. And it seemed that this was only the return, that it would shut off the return only. And this was an end unit for multi-units, and so my thought is maybe the neighboring one would have shut off the water. I didn't try that. I'm actually going to go back and research that more. There's always more in situations like this. There's always more, adding more to your knowledge, and this is something that I'm still looking into and developing. But I remembered a long time ago I had another unit that was an end unit, and similar situation. I replaced the ball valve because the hot water wouldn't shut off, and when I replaced the ball valve, that did not make it able to shut the hot water off. I had to shut the whole building off, and that was the situation with this one as well. So that's where it kind of clicked with me that there's something different on the end units, and maybe it's just that the unit next to it shuts off the unit and this unit. Again, I still need to figure that out. But what I wanted to get into was the trouble with slab leaks, and the trouble with slab leaks is because it's sleeved, the leak can actually be way far away and travel. Now this one, because the floor had been hot all the way across, kind of figured out that this is the return line coming back from the hydronic unit after it makes its coil, and it also goes to the manifold. And because I was able to turn the water off, cut this line and cap it, was able to prove that I still had hot water to the whole unit with the ball valve that should have been the supply turned off. And but then of course that wouldn't allow heat. So what we had to do was cut the line here and then reroute it up through the ceiling and over, cut the line at the ball valve and rerun the line there above the ceiling. You know, obviously the concrete here is extremely tough. Jackhammers just bounce right off of it. It's very, very thick. You can see, you know, as I pulled off some of the insulation, you know, it's just a solid, very, very strong concrete. It's a slab foundation, and very, very strong concrete. So was the best solution to reroute it through the ceiling and able to make it work. And that's kind of the problem sometimes with slab leaks. You know, they can trick you. You can think they're close by, and they can actually be 10 feet, 12 feet, whatever, Fortunately, this one was in between the ball valve, that's the shutoff for this unit, what normally is. Again, this was an end unit, and was a fairly easy in the scope of how bad it could have been, because if the leak was somewhere else, it can be even more difficult to figure out what it's supplying. But again, you can cut it, cap it, and then figure out what you don't have water to left, and then you just have to determine what is the correct direction of flow, and then rerun lines where you need them to go. Some of these slab leaks, they can be really tricky. In the scope of things, this one, it's still bad, but what are you going to do? It just needs to be done. One of those things. And it's definitely better in a situation like this to rerun the plumbing above ground. Then you're not destroying your foundation or weakening the foundation in any way. Of course, the problem with jackhammering the foundation is that you're weakening your foundation. Not a good thing. And may even be prohibited by code in many areas. If you find these videos helpful, a one-time donation would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you support me on Patreon, helps me do what I do. There are some special perks for Patreon supporters. And we'll see you on the next one.
Sending